Hello everyone, I'm Paul Brown sitting in for the Cardinal Cowboy today. He's out on assignment. We'll be hearing from him later on in the program. But coming up, we are going to be talking with one of the region's leading experts in roofing systems. So stay with us. Your little castle is right now. And again, everyone, I'm Paul Brown sitting in. Cardinal Cowboy has actually put me in charge today. So I don't know what to tell you. We're in for a treat. You're in for a treat. As we know, Cardinal Cowboy, he's out cheering for his favorite team right now. But we will be hearing from him just a little bit later on in the program. I want to introduce myself. My name is Paul Brown. I was with KMOX Radio, KTRS Radio, columnist for the Ladue News Magazine. And I've just been around for a long, long time. And so Cardinal Cowboy has been gracious enough to let me help him out with some of the programs. So we're going to enjoy our time together. So thanks for being with us today. We are going to be talking with a gentleman named Dennis Schlabach. And he is with DF Roofing Systems and DS Custom Building. That's in Southern Illinois. But he does a lot of work all over the region, so he's one of the experts. I noticed right away, Dennis, welcome to the program. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And I understand, though, that the name of the company says a lot about who you are right away. When I think of a roofing company, I think of, the guys that come in and follow storms around and, are doing just throwing shingles up on a roof. But you are actually, it's called DS Roofing Systems. So tell me a little bit about what that means when we talk about a roofing system as opposed to just somebody who does roofs.
So on the roofing systems stands for a lot of your sheet metal design roofs have a lot of different systems you can install. A lot of your single ply TPO PVC systems. There's multiple systems in the industry. Shingles is just pretty much anybody that we see out on the streets will throw shingles on a roof. But this is more of a special system in itself.
Now, you do residential as well.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Most of the roofing systems, though, would be for commercial properties, I'm sure.
That's right. That's correct.
What do you primarily specialize in? Rubber roofs, metal roofs? What's your specialty?
We primarily specialize in shingle, metal, TPO, PVC.
TPO, PVC. Come back here. What is it?
We specialize a lot in metal. Like your
Sure.
your standing seam sheet metal design. Right. Then we do a lot of TPO, PVC.
What does TPO stand for?
TPO is it's a TPO product. It's not a a PVC.
Got it. Okay.
And then we do a lot of PVC products as well. And then we do a lot of coatings as well. Install a lot of coatings.
And we're talking about you'll do everything from a single family home to a huge to the Pepsi plant in Marion, Illinois, whatever.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. What's the biggest project you've ever done?
The biggest project I did was up at Pittsburgh, PA, at Pittsburgh Steel.
Really?
And that was a little over 350,000 square feet.
Holy cow! Now, what kind of that's just not your typical roofing system.
No, that was a metal system.
PVC, and that was Pittsburgh Steel.
Pittsburgh Steel, that's correct.
Okay, man, that's huge. Yes. That's huge. That must have been quite an experience for you.
It was very much.
A pretty big experience for a kid out of Southern Illinois. And we were talking about this. I went back to Southern Illinois when I worked at the TV stations. In Harrisburg, Illinois, which I guess you probably know. Yes. You've been to Harrisburg before, a little coal mining town out in the middle of Saline County, and then I've worked a lot with the people at SIU. But I worked at the TV station there, and then the TV station in the big city of Paducah, Kentucky. So you must have gotten out there. But Southern Illinois, beautiful place. Yes. But Southern Illinois, that incorporates so much of really even into the St. Louis metropolitan area. I mean, Belleville, Illinois is considered Southern Illinois, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Goes all the way over to, say, we were trying to figure out where does Southern Illinois start?
Basically, if you can draw a line on 64 east and west, south of that from river to river.
And you guys, but you do work, just because you're based in Southern Illinois, you are all over the place.
Yeah, so on the residential is what I started out with years ago. And I have a very good residential team that can basically run day to day without me being involved on that. And we keep residential within 2-hour radius. But then commercial, basically, a commercial, there's no limit.
Right.
If it's large enough, there's enough room for margins and mobilization. We'll go to coast.
So what is it that you specialize in? What do you when you go on a job, whether it's an individual person, a single family home, or if you're going out to Pittsburgh Steel? I mean, how do you sell yourself to Pittsburgh Steel?
Go in and try to figure out ways how you can help them with, if they're having a special issue, a special problem, figure a way out how to solve it, and just be very confident and sure of yourself that yes, there's no job too big or too small. Show them that you truly care and what they have, what they got going on, and respect it like it's your own property.
So is it always a matter of price? How does that work? I mean, I'm thinking that they got to be looking at budgets and bottom line. So what's the most important factor when you're dealing with some of these bigger jobs?
You can usually pick up pretty quick when you move in if they're price shopping, or if you sell yourself to an individual. They know some of the past history of projects you did, or you basically sell yourself. They have confidence in you that you're a person that is willing to stand behind your word.
And you're willing to stand behind that word to what respect? I mean, what does that mean when you stand behind your word?
If you have to lose money end of the day to go in and complete a project, and that's what I told them I will do, that's what we'll do.
Wow. So hopefully
and that happened already.
It has.
It has happened. But that's where you learn.
Okay. How long you been at this?
This is my 13th year.
13th year. Okay. So you've seen it all at this point already.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? So you're talking about Pittsburgh Steel, that you work there. Any other that folks around here may have heard about?
Yeah, we did a lot, like at Granite City Steel. You know them.
Oh, okay. So if you did Pittsburgh Steel, then you're going to naturally you might have a connection with somebody there.
A lot of people probably know Schweitzer's Food. That's where a lot of the gas stations buy their cups.
Right.
A lot of stuff like that. From we're getting ready to do another section. We've done them 3 times now since I've been in business, and they were every year storm damage. There's we do multiple work, for Mercy hospitals.
Okay.
In St. Louis area, which a lot of people would know that.
Sure.
A lot of warehousing on the East St. Louis side, which everybody drives by the highways and sees these warehousing, don't know exactly what's in them.
Amazon usually, right?
Amazon, yeah. But we never did one exactly, or just for Amazon.
Right, yeah. But whenever I see those buildings now and they're going
everybody thinks Amazon.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think of. I'm thinking like that's like with some of those cornfields. It's the best crop they ever had, some of those cornfields. Yep. Hey, we're going to talk a little bit more with Dennis Schlabach of DS Roofing Systems of Southern Illinois. We're going to do that. First, though, we're going to take just a minute to visit with the Cardinal Cowboy, who's out in the community making friends.
All right, everybody, we're here with the SLU basketball team enjoying this awesome event. First up, Robbie, you're a little taller than me. I guess you play for the basketball team at St. Louis University.
I do that, yes, sir.
What's your position? How long have you been on the team?
I play center. This is going to be my second year here at SLU.
Are you excited about the upcoming season?
Oh, yeah, I'm super excited. It's going to be a fun season. We can't wait to get started.
What do you find most exciting about this event here today at Delwood Rec Center?
I think just seeing the community get together, seeing the camaraderie between people, on this lovely holiday. Obviously it's a big thing to celebrate, and so just seeing everybody out here together having a good time, it's awesome.
Do you think I can help you maybe with a little bit of your slam dunks, maybe?
I think you can help me a lot, yeah.
All right, we'll work on that later.
All right.
Thank you, Robbie. What's your name?
I'm Dion Brown.
All right, Dion, what position you playing?
I play combo guard, sometimes small forward as well, so 1, 2, and 3.
I was not a basketball player at this level, obviously, everybody. So you shoot, rebound, dunk, the whole thing?
That's it, anything I can do.
How excited are you about playing for SLU this year?
I can't wait, it's got a great group of guys, it's my first year here, so I'm kind of meeting everyone for the first time, but I can't complain, I love it here.
How fun has this event been for you?
It's been great, we got to see people, we got to help out a little bit, taking out the trash, got to meet people, take pictures, spend time with the community, with the youth, so it's been great.
If you need any help with your three-pointer, you let me know.
Yeah, you can help me right now.
Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out.
And welcome back to the program, Your Little Casa program. I'm Paul Brown, sitting in today for my friend Cardinal Cowboy, who is out having fun. I think he was about to teach those guys how to slam dunk a basketball, but that's a whole nother story. Now, one of the things I think is interesting, this is Dennis Schlabach. He is the president and owner, I guess, of DS Roofing Systems in Southern Illinois, also DS Custom Building. One of the things that you told me, though, that you grew up on a farm, and it was a horse farm. I mean, was this a breeding farm?
Mm-hmm.
What when you say
standard bred horse breeding farm?
Standard bred. So you
so they had the breeding for basically, just your standard bred race horses. So my dad, so basically when I grew up as a boy, my father had a real good friend out in Kansas City, Kansas. His name was Jerry Logan. He was a big bridge builder.
Okay.
And he owned multiple brood mares. And my dad would basically we had 65 acres there, 3 big barns. We'd keep them inside all winter long. During the summer, we'd breed them, to different studs across the world and raise the colts. They'd be on the ground. We'd, it was a lot of work. We had, I think the most I can remember one year was 80 some horses there.
You had 80 horses on your property.
Yep.
Now, are we talking quarter horses or thoroughbreds? What are we talking?
These are standard bred race horses.
What does that mean? What is a standard
bred? Just a breed of horse, just like a thoroughbred. A thoroughbred's a breed. A Dutch harness is a breed of horse. Standard bred is just a breed of horse. Just like you go to a dealership, you got a Ford and a GM and a Chevy. They all got their own picks.
But standard bred horses are used primarily for what?
A racetrack.
So they would be on a racetrack. Are we
in
talking?
A Saluki. Yeah, in a race cart. You see the where they have the race over here in the DuQuoin State Fair.
The World Trotting Derby in DuQuoin, Illinois.
That's right.
Which at one time, it was the home of the Hambletonian. Also,
that's correct.
Years ago, Hambletonian. That was harness racing's biggest event. That was like the Kentucky Derby for harness racing. Yeah. I think it moved to New York probably in the 1970s. And then the DuQuoin State Fair picked up the World Trotting Derby, which is probably still one of the top, harness racing events in the country. Have you had any of your horses ever won a big one?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Like Hambletonian?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
Seriously?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I was a kid back then, so I was basically one of the hands on the farm and stuff. So we'd go occasionally here and there, but or the customer out of Kansas City had his own. I think she was out of Mayfield, Kentucky.
Okay.
Was one of the main drivers.
Okay.
They were one of the main drivers on the horse.
So you got out of this. You decided that you weren't going to stay in the horse business. Right. Was that a tough decision for you, or did you?
Not at all.
Not
a lot of hard work.
Now, why is that?
Well, it's just one of. I think it's one of those things. Is I did it when I was a kid growing up, and when I got into my teen years. I thought I'd want to pursue something different, better. So I didn't own a horse for 5 years. And then unfortunately I did go back into some horses, but it's all you're a quarter horse, like you're cutting horses.
Okay.
So I do.
Hey, cutting horses, that's a whole different ball game there too. That's quite an industry.
Yes.
Dennis Schlabach of DS Roofings is our guest today here on the Your Little Castle TV program. I'm Paul Brown. Cardinal Cowboy has put me in charge, so you never know what's going to happen and what we're going to end up talking about here. But did you have, now when you're in Southern Illinois, obviously, and being a business leader that you are, you have to lend yourself to a lot of causes, a lot of charitable organizations. What are some of the organizations that you've found it most rewarding to be a part of?
Probably the one that's called for kids' sake.
For kids' sake.
Yes, in Carbondale, Illinois.
Okay.
If you look them up, they do a lot of. Trying to think the numbers on it, but they do multiple children where they provide schooling for them down in Bangladesh, if I can pronounce
Okay,
it correctly.
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
There
that's
you
correct.
go. Thank you. It's
And
on the other
they,
side of the world.
Yes, and they, it's not a huge number here. I think $1,000 here will buy a whole year's schooling for one child. Is it maybe $500? Don't hold me on that. But it's not a big an amount in American dollar that will get a child through school. So yeah, so we do a lot for that. And then, you know, our local town, we do a lot of donations on roofs. They need a roof on this or that or whatever, we'll
Sure.
do a lot of that.
So you'll do in-kind services for,
Oh, yeah.
for charities,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. So as a business leader in Southern Illinois, what kind of a responsibility do you feel for helping the community, being a part of the community, taking care of your neighbors, taking care of the businesses, whatever needs to be done? I mean, do people look to you in that respect?
So that's $1 million question. So in Southern Illinois, we have a lot of job availabilities, but a lot of our jobs are just type of jobs that are paycheck to paychecks, not good benefits, none of that. If you want a good job that has good paying benefits, it's either working at a prison. We have a large coal mine in Southern Illinois, which we all know that's a good industry. And then it goes to the medical field here and there. But for your outside, overall, you know, we have a lot of people that are employed by the union, which that's a good paying job. So my responsibility to the local is to, I enjoy seeing a lot of people come in and being employed by our company and do well for their family, provide for their family, buy homes. I had 3 employees in the last 2 months that just bought new homes. But to me, that incentivizes me to see that happen. I like to see them do good.
So when you're trying to go out there and you're obviously you're marketing yourself, you're I understand you've got a new website. I think we're looking at some of what's going to be part of your new website that's on the screens here behind us. It's a big job, and you're the guy responsible for making sure that all your employees get paychecks. You have to make sure that you're giving back to your community as much as possible, and you're trying to take care of your family. Tell me about what do you do when you're not working?
When I'm not working, I'm either so I own quite a bit of real estate, and I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that market. That's really something I enjoy. I'm a type of person that I enjoy operating equipment.
Really?
I have my own dozer. I have my own excavator. I got a couple track machines. I got a scraper. I'm finding places. I'm always finding areas to build a new road back through the woods. A lot of people think I'm crazy and I'm stupid. So I'll have after hours. I'll have employees will be calling me and they hear all the noise in the background. They're like, "Why are you out running equipment?" This is relaxing. I enjoy it.
Because you got nothing else better to do,
Nothing
right?
else better to do.
You know,
So
I mean,
if I'm not doing that, I'll probably be eating dinner and getting ready to go to bed. Get up the next day.
as a business owner, the number of hours that you work are probably incredible.
Oh yeah, I do a lot. Like, I remember back in the day when I started earlier on, there would never be a day that I wouldn't be out, leaving the house at 3 a.m.
Wow.
Getting back at 9, 10. Now I'd say it's more like 4 or 5 a.m. to sometimes even during the night. If I got to get from point A to point B, we go.
We're going to take a time out. Dennis Schlabach is our guest here on Your Little Castle program. I'm Paul Brown, sitting in for the Cardinal Cowboy tonight. Dennis Schlabach from DS Roofing Systems is our guest. We will continue. Stay with us, folks. His name is Carter Rathwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rathwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to
It doesn't matter who I look at. No. Okay.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. I'm Paul Brown, sitting in for the Cardinal Cowboy. We are continuing here on the Your Little Castle program on ABC 30 in St. Louis. I'm here with Dennis Schlabach of DS Roofing Systems of Southern Illinois. He's been telling me some great stories about his days as a horse breeder, breeding championship horses that were harness racers. Here's the thing. Now, I don't know. Have you seen the TV show Yellowstone?
Heard, yeah.
Have you ever watched that?
Yeah.
They got into cutting horses. Mm-hmm. They were breeding cutting horses. But one of the interesting things that I have seen about horse breeding is that there's a lot of really hands-on work when it comes to the actual breeding of the horses, when impregnating the mares, right? Did you ever have to get involved in all of that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you were right there in the middle of the process.
So my father had an ultrasound system, and I was, as a boy, 14 years old, we put mares in a stock, and I was one of the guys that ran the ultrasound system. Bring
Wow.
the tail up, do what you needed to do. I've done that multiple times.
So, is there any comparison to the with what you learned as a horse breeder, breeding championship horses in Southern Illinois, to what you do now? Is there what lessons did you learn from life from that experience, working with those championship horses, that you were able to carry over to your business today?
I'd say the biggest thing that I would say there's a similarity between the two and that I learned the most is, if you're involved, and any of us know that if we're involved in animals, you can't wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I got a migraine headache, I'll feed them tonight. Mm-hmm. No option. You go and do it. The roofing industry is very much the same way. As when the weather's nice, you go. Rain's moving in, you go. There's a lot of hard work involved. You can't go decide, well, I'm going to do the roofing industry for 6 to 8 months, and then I'm going to go pursue another business. It will not happen overnight. It takes time to build. It takes time to build that clientele. If you want to have a good herd in the horse breeding industry, it takes time to build that herd. Mm-hmm. So you got to have the dedication, the zeal. Stay on it.
So people have to know that when they need you, that you're going to be there.
If you tell them I'm going to be there at 5 a.m., you're there at 5 a.m.
Yeah. Now here lately, of course, we've been hearing a lot about the tornadoes. There was a big tornado in St. Louis not too long ago. Did a lot of damage, mostly to residential. I'm not sure how much commercial property was damaged. That's something that you have to respond to right away too. Have you been in a situation where you've got catastrophe kind of catastrophic kind of damage that you need to get in there right away and make it right?
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up. So last fall in October, we did a 40,000 square feet furniture store in Edwardsville, Illinois called Mary Jane Solid Oak Furniture, right on I-70. A lot of people probably see that. We re-roofed it and everything in October because it had hail damage from the previous year. Back when this last tornado hit, I was sitting in my office, and from my office to Edwardsville to Mary Jane's is an hour and 45 minutes. Sitting in my office, and I seen the phone ring, and it was Don, the owner, had his cell number. He called me 3 times in a row, and I was like, there's an emergency. So I told the person I was on the phone, I'll call you back. I picked up like, hey, Don, what's up? And he's like, Dennis, we got hit by the tornado, took over half of our roof off. And I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah. And I said, if you give me a few, I'll be there. So I hung up the phone with Don. I looked at the radar. There's hail moving in our area. I went out and jumped in one of the old company trucks. I didn't take my personal truck. I didn't want to get hammered by the hail. I headed for Edwardsville. I got in Edwardsville an hour and 50 minutes later, and we met with the insurance company that night, and within 48 hours later I had 15 guys on site, and 5 days later we had them all in the dry.
And I know that's a lot different than what you would do for a residential situation, and I know that you get the same kind of situations where people have got emergency needs right away. If you fly over St. Louis right now, you see a lot of blue tarps.
Yes.
And how is it that you're able to get to? How do you get to all of these folks? There's so many people that have so many needs, and I know there's a lot of companies that do it. But what makes you guys special when it comes to catastrophic type of situations?
What we do on a lot of these storm situations, our sales guys will go out and about, and they'll spread out, and they'll stop by and drop a card and be like, if you need somebody to tarp your roof, call us. We're here available. My philosophy is don't go to the door and be like, hey, we're here to tarp your roof. We can tarp your roof. Everybody thinks you're here to rape them for money. Just make yourself available, and the phone will start ringing within minutes and hours. Just show courteousness. Be like, hey, we're here available. If you need a roof tarp, we're here to help you. We'll charge you $350 to tarp your roof. Then we'll quote you a roof down the road, and if you end up doing a roof with us, we'll reimburse you that $350.
Okay.
So that's how we present a lot of ours. So me in my company, I don't like to go out and chase storms. Like
right.
There's a lot of bad names out there. You know, everybody
right.
knows the storm chasers, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that sounds like a real service that you're involved in. You've been involved in a lot of things. This is your life. This is your world. You know more about it than just about anybody else does in the business right now. You've been at it for long enough that this is what you do, and you're an expert at it. Dennis Schlabach is the owner and president of DS Roofing Systems in Southern Illinois. His business is commercial and residential, and he does work all over the country, as a matter of fact. So if you've got a big job, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys? I mean, I know you got a good website, phone number. Give me a phone number real quick.
618-426-1581.
618-426-1581. Okay, that's DS Roofing Systems. Again, thank you so much for being with us on the program today. I am Paul Brown, sitting in for the Cardinal Cowboy.